Miami Sports Always from two homies in Miami.
What is going on, guys? Episode 29 of the Sport Spectator Podcast. We are so back, baby. Just like football season, we're here for another couple months. We're back. I'm super excited. We have an incredible special guest today. Recurring guest, actually. Woo. Woo. I guess technically you are our first recurring guest because you are the first person that we have now had twice on the podcast as a recurring guest. So Woo, welcome back. Love to have you back, bro. I'm super hyped to chat. I know before we started recording, we started talking a lot of smack, started talking a lot of smoke, and I mean today agenda is looking sensational. Super hyped for the episode. I mean, super excited to talk to you. Dolphins, Canes, Heat, and really anything else in between. But brother, just like the last time that we had you on this episode, let's hear about you. Catch us up on your life. How's everything, man? How are you? You look good. You look great. You're glowing almost, bro. What's going on?
I feel fresh, man. I was in the pool all day, so I feel a little fresh. Nah, man, I'm super glad, honored to be back, man. You guys have been crushing it. 29th episode, and you guys just keep growing and growing, man. And the event that you guys pulled out was, bro, spectacular for the city, man. So, you guys are doing big things, man. I just want to just shout you out before we even start anything. Just give you your flowers, man, because it's definitely it's showing up and how much you love doing this, and you can see it in every episode. So shout out to you guys, man. As for me, just growing, man. Last time I spoke to you guys, I was talking about the major upside, and right now, just building that up, and I have using that as a production company. We're trying to build out like 4 different podcasts at the same time. Super ambitious stuff, bros. But with major podcasts, the Major Upside podcast is going to be more about sports media. People, creators who are on the field, taking pictures, taking photos, taking videos and stuff like that. Then we have another one. It's called Who Knows Ball. It's more like a game type podcast and other things in the pipeline, man. But
wow,
working, man. And I feel like I've been stuck for a little bit, but we got to push forward. So big things ahead.
Brother, I am excited to hear that, man. And if you ever need some recurring guests, you got our number, bro. I'm sure we'll be more than happy to come on and collaborate and do whatever we can to support your channels in the same way that you supported ours, brother. Absolutely. So super hyped to see about all of the projects, man. I mean, likewise to you, you've been absolutely killing it, man. Like, I think this is a great situation. Game respects game. And again, full disclosure, a lot of the things that we see, we definitely learn a lot of the ways that you post, the way that you talk about Miami sports and the way you rep it. And I mean, we're pretty much trying to kind of piggyback off that energy as well in the things we do. So I'm loving the energy right now, bro. This is about as 305 as it gets, but I feel like let's get into it, bro. I mean, you're wearing the Miami Dolphins hat, and I actually, that was the first thing I noticed was your hat. I got to be honest, sick as fuck. Have not seen the design anywhere. Is there a backstory to it? What's up with it?
I saw it on Twitter, man. I saw it on X, right? I still can't call it Twitter. I saw it on X. Somebody posted it up, and I went straight to the link. It's on their website, and I picked it up because there's so much dope stuff that we don't even know, especially like now that Fanatics kind of took over. I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. Fanatics sucks.
Whack as fuck. Oh yeah. I was waiting to see where you went with that. If you were like, oh, they're great, and I'm like,
and I hate to say that because I want to work with them, and I know they're getting better and stuff. But at least prior to them, kind of, I feel like they've monopolized like everything now, right? Like they own every league, everything. So they're like their shirts just weren't up to par, but some of their hats are pretty fire. And that's where I got it. So
nice,
bro.
Dude, I honestly, for Fanatics, I agree. Like they suck at the professional end. The Fanatics branding sucks for like shirts. Like it's like cheap quality. But I've used Fanatics for like the Alabama stuff from like their college, and I've loved it over the years. It's such a great aggregator. But I agree. Like the Fanatics gear is garbage. I've bought a couple shirts. And I'm like, why the fuck did I buy this? But yeah.
And it's tough because you remember they did the baseball stuff this year and they got so much slack, for that. But I think they're doing a better job. This season they're doing NHL and those look pretty fire. So I think they switched it up.
So what do you think? Are we bullish on Fanatics or?
I'm bullish on Fanatics as a company, right?
Yeah.
Because they're doing everything from like sports collectibles, like cards, to they just did a fan fest in New York City. Like that was dope, and they have literally every single league on lock right now. So
Yeah,
They
they're going to
do.
be the Amazon of sports,
Literally.
if not already. Wait
No.
till they get a streaming rights or like their own like podcast.
Yo, John, don't give them ideas, bro. But that being said, we will happily take a sponsorship from Fanatics.
that's it.
Like we will happily edit the comment that I said before. Whatever you guys want to throw our way, we can start the floor. We'll start at $500,000 for a shout out on our podcast. So let us know, Fanatics. Like, shoot us in our DMs, Woo or the Sport Spectator, and I think any one of us will be happy to collaborate.
I'll get a Fanatics tattoo somewhere that is not visible to the public eye with clothing.
Oh yeah, dude. Oh, for the right price, I'll put a tattoo anywhere, bro. Like,
If
name
they
a
told
body
you-
part.
They told you 100,000 on a cheek. Did you do it?
For only a cheek, I would have done that for 20. For a cheek, that's not prime real estate. Like, you're definitely going above my asking price for $100,000 on a cheek. Like, easy. We'll clap cheeks for $100,000. Like,
Yo, Michael
any
Rubin,
day.
if he ever hears this, he might make that happen. He's the kind of guy that would pay you $100,000 to get Fanatics tattooed
Yeah.
on.
dude, Mike, let me know, brother. Like, your white parties. I'm gonna be honest. It looks a little culty if I'm being real. Like the whole white thing. I'm just like,
Yo, people are saying he's the new Diddy. Uh-oh, watch out. Yo, no, we're just playing Michael Rubin.
Yeah,
I didn't
yeah,
say
that's
that.
it.
We'll take the cash and the tattoo for you. We don't believe what people are saying about you.
seriously. Like, I will tattoo Fanatics on either one of my butt cheeks. Like, just let me know, brother. Alrighty then.
Good first clip already out of the way there.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I think we got to talk about the elephant in the room, and that is our Miami Dolphins. We are now officially in one more Sunday until week 1, where we're facing the Jacksonville Jaguars. Classic Florida battle. But as of today, I'll start us off. Big news. Chubb, as well as Isaiah Wynn, are now officially on the PUP list, meaning that the earliest that they can play is now week 5. So I want to throw this out there. Literally the season hasn't even started. Like, we just concluded the preseason, and I feel like we're already racking up injuries. And everywhere that I see, every media outlet is basically saying, oh, the Dolphins are not making it back to the playoffs. Like, oh, they overpaid Tua. Let's start with that one. Woo. Thoughts on the Tua contract, bro? What do you think? Was it good? Was it bad? What are your thoughts?
Well, for me, like I started looking at what they were paying other guys that, weren't even close to the season that he had, and I'm like, he has to get paid. Like, if I'm an owner, I'd be hurting though. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, I would be like, dang, I don't want to pay this, but because I see like the whole market going the way it went, which was absolutely ridiculous in my eyes. But it is what it is. Like, they had to pay him that, and I just hope that I'm one of those people that hope that he's going to live up to that contract. You know what I'm saying?
It's funny. I've made the exact same argument to a lot of people, and I understand both sides. I've spoken to friends, family members, just even other people, comment sections or the DMs on our page, and it's been a very polarizing topic. I'll be honest with you. A lot of people, they love the contract, and again, full disclosure, I've been a fan of the contract. Maybe at first I was a little, kind of on the fence about it, but I've taken to accept the same logic you have, Wu, that to me it's just like, hey, the market is what it is. In the same way that, a 600 square foot home in Hialeah Gardens now goes for $1.5 million, a quarterback now goes for, the price that it goes. The market is what it is, But, and no, I fully agree. The guy at the end of the day, like, he has the stats to back it up. I think right now he really is just missing like a good playoff performance maybe to justify it. But the way I see it is this.
But he needs to beat the Bills.
He does, which I think it's going to be this year, man, because they really messed up during the offseason. They basically let everyone
frauds
go.
this year.
Oh,
Bills are frauds.
big time.
I think it'll
frauds,
be Jets versus Dolphins to get the.
I hope so. I want to crush Aaron Rodgers so bad, bro.
I don't know, dude. I feel like the team will crush him himself. Like, I'm a big believer
You
he's
don't think
gonna.
Aaron Rodgers is gonna have a good season?
No, I sincerely think that he's gonna like snap his other Achilles.
I hope that doesn't happen. I hope he doesn't have a good season. But I think since I hope that so much, he's going to have a good season.
I think he's going to have a good season. I just don't think it's going to be enough to get him over to the playoffs and win a playoff game.
I'm sorry. No one's addressed the fact that, yes, they got all of these weapons. They got all of these guys. And now on paper, sure, they're now a great team. But no one's addressed the fact that, and this is the thing no one's talking about, the turf on MetLife has not been fixed. It's still just as crap. And that was the one thing I never understood. It's this has been a consistent issue where people always are getting injured on that turf. But that's the one thing that you as an organization refuse to fix, where your star-studded, all-pro, Super Bowl winning quarterback got injured on this same field. And that was the one thing you didn't want to address. So because of that, I'm very, very bearish on the Jets. I think he's going to re-injure, at least by week 4, if I'm being honest with you. That's my hot take, at least.
You haven't figured something crazy. You want to hear something crazy, Juan? It's the opposite of what you said. That the Jets with Zach Wilson last season went 7-10. So if you put Aaron Rodgers in there, it's not that hard to have a better season. It's pretty crazy they went 7-10.
Okay,
Their defense, they had a good defense last year.
Their defense is good. I will say that much. It is going to be elite, and I feel like if their offense stays good, that defense is going to be a problem for us. So it might very well be Dolphins Jets, but again, I'm very bearish solely because of that field. That's the one pain point they haven't been able to address. So I don't know about that.
What if Aaron Rodgers runs down again and just snap one more time?
Jesus,
dude,
that'd be terrible, bro. That's a terrible way to go.
That would be terrible.
Dude, John Teague really wants that because him being a New York resident, I feel like he's just always had a distaste for both the Jets and the Giants. So I think he just wishes everything bad to happen on them, anyways. So he's a little bit biased when it comes to that.
That is some subconscious truth. Yes, and I will say no more.
But as far as the Dolphins go, man, it hurt me to see Chubb on the PUP list. You know what I'm saying? And I'm happy that OBJ wasn't on it.
I was surprised by that. Yeah,
he said, when they asked McDaniels, about him, he was like TBD. So we don't know, if he's going to be there on the first game, season opener, or if he's going to be the second or third. They just didn't want to put him, for 5 games to be stuck out. So we'll see when he comes back. I don't know, man.
How do you think he's even going to perform in that wide receiver room? I mean, there's just so many studs in that locker room for all of our wideouts. Where does he even fit into there? I think it's just a safety net for, eventually one of our top receivers goes out. That's all I think he is.
I think he's going to get looks because I think people are going to be on Waddle and Hill all the time. So I think he's going to get looks. I mean, if I was an offensive coordinator, I would just put him straight up as a slot receiver and just make him run slants and like small things. I wouldn't put him to go deep or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? I'd have Waddle and Hill for that, but I don't know how they're going to use him, to be honest with you, if they have three of those people on the field at the same time.
Dude, goal line, end zone, post routes, and just getting up high. Because I mean, Jalen and Tyreek can jump, but I mean,
they're small though. Yeah,
they are, dude. But I don't know. It might be like a Wildcat situation because he's thrown passes in the past and they've looked good. So I mean, I could see that being as another sneaky thing. I don't know, man. McDaniel, especially now that he's looking I don't know if you guys have seen him recently, year 3. You probably have all seen the videos.
Miami Vice.
Yeah, bro. Literally. Tremendo Miami Vice, bro.
His hair's all crazy. He's always had the glasses, but his hair just looked crazy. I was like, yo, is this guy for real?
Dude, he's cooking. He's not worried
cooking,
about his look.
yeah.
He's just cooking.
He's cooking.
Dude, yeah, he straight up looks like he literally leaves 11 and then drives to the stadium for his press conference.
This is a big year for him, bro. This is year 3, and this is obviously we had a decent season last year, but there's a lot riding on this, bro. There's a lot riding on, especially now we gave Tua that contract. There's a lot riding on him. So do you think he's going to be on the hot seat?
You took the words right out of my mouth. That was going to be my hot take for right now. Is I sincerely think that he is if he's not on the hot seat, those cheeks are getting a little warm. I'll say that much. Like,
wait, are you serious? You guys are crazy.
No,
I think if by week 10, if we're not looking like we're going to the playoffs, he's in the hot seat.
Yeah,
I guess, but I feel like Steven Ross is like, bro, nice. I'm chilling. You got like you broke all these records. Like I could sit on this franchise. You could fuck around like we've been fucking around. Like we had the spark we needed, and like thanks. Like,
but listen, it comes down to this, that last year, like we looked good on paper. We were the equivalent of like that random trade that you make, and on paper, sure, you're up 10 grand, but you never sell. So what did you even accomplish at that point? Like,
bro, Steven Ross doesn't need wins to sell. We talked about this. Remember, he's increased 10x the valuation of the franchise with no playoff wins. I think that.
Listen, and that's all well and good, but what dividend do I get as like the average Dolphins fan because you've 10x your franchise? Again, still no playoff wins. Like we've had playoff appearance, and yes, we've had all of these records, but I think, Woo, you would agree, man, that if we go another season where we're one and done in the wild card round, and yeah, maybe sure we had a great regular season, if it's not showing in the postseason, what did we even accomplish? That's the equivalent of me going to a local middle school, like beating up on a bunch of 10-year-olds and then being like, oh, I'm undefeated in the UFC. Like, are you really? Like, what did you actually show for it? Like, yeah, I guess on paper you won 10 fights in a row, but let's take a step back. And I kind of think that's where we are. Like, we're good on paper, but it's not transitioning to meaningful postseason victories.
I think
that's all I'm going to say.
If you would have asked me that last year, I would have said my goalpost would have been a playoff win. But this year, we have to be in the AFC Championship. Like, it's either that or like this season was a total bust. Super Bowl, like, I'm not going to say Super Bowl. I don't want to even touch that subject. I hope we get there. But I am shooting for the AFC Championship against the Bengals, and I want to beat Joe and go to the promised land. But I don't know. I really, this is a season where I'm kind of like, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do. I don't know if to like, those times where you were like, they lose because, you went to go watch a game and you're like, yo, X that. I'm not coming back again. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause every time I come, they lose. I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do this season. I think I'm just going to. Yeah.
I can help you. I can help you guys. I can help both of you guys. Coming from a Cowboys fan who has experienced the playoff
Jesus
win
Christ.
in the past 2 decades.
Oh, congrats on CD though. That was a big signing though. So you got that.
So considering I have won playoff games, but been as equally, if not more, disappointed as a fan, you just got to focus on a playoff win. Just start small, and then from there you can start dreaming. But like literally, like for both of these teams, like just win a playoff game, and then we can start getting more serious. Because I mean, you see it every year. Like just because you have a good regular season doesn't mean you have good playoffs, and vice versa. So just win a playoff game, please. That's all.
The injury bug is crazy, man. Like by the end of the season, everybody's injured. You know what I'm saying? You're like you have basically half of the team that you had when you first started. You know what I'm saying?
It's horrible.
that's honestly that's the main thing I'm worried about. It's like I believe in the team, but it's just I feel like the injuries just pile up, man. Like one will happen, and then I just feel it's like a snowball effect. Like I don't know what South Florida ever did to like God or any other higher being, but they have it out for us. Like they don't want to see the Dolphins win. And by the way, John, like as someone who's experienced multiple college football championships, man, like come on, bro. Like I've been a very miserable sports fan. Like the most I've gotten to experience recently is a Stanley Cup. But at least you've had like college football wins, you've had playoff wins. Like you know what it feels like to not be a miserable sports fan like me, bro.
These are facts.
You're very spoiled. Is the point that I'm trying to make.
100%. I need to say no more.
Alabama has how many wins? How many championships?
16.
Well, in the last decade, ever since Nick Saban, he's won like 6 or 7.
5. Like
that guy's
5
insane.
names.
That's crazy, bro.
When I was there, they had a chance to go 3 for 4, but I went 2 for 4 in my undergrad. It was nuts.
That was nuts, bro. That was nuts.
I I hate you so much, bro.
Juan hates me.
What does it feel like to watch a college football season and know that like your floor is like a national title? Like for us,
dude.
like for as a Florida fan, the floor for me this year is literally like maybe make 500, maybe.
I like Mertz, man. Mertz is pretty good, man.
Same.
I like Mertz. Mertz is gonna do good this year. But like for me, the UM, like last time we won, I think it was like 2001. I mean, those years were a good run, right? But after that, it was like,
Yeah,
like
that was a legendary run.
We joined the ACC, and then that shit. Like we have never even won the ACC championship.
Really?
You know yeah.
No,
never.
they haven't.
Whoa. I never knew that. That's a crazy stat. This is the season.
It might be. I mean, they're going to start off hot. I'm going to be honest. As much as I hate to say it, like they're probably going to crush Florida. Like,
give us the prediction, Juan. What happens in the swamp on week 1? Gators hosting the Hurricanes. What happens?
I feel like it's going to go one of two ways, and I'm going to tell you. I'm going to start off with my ideal scenario, but it's going to be the least likely scenario. I think most likely Graham Mertz gets the yips. He's throwing fucking picks left and right, and they eventually bench him for Lagway. Okay?
Wow.
And one of two things that's going to happen. Either he's just going to have just a sensational game and end up beating UM, and people are just like, yo, this is it. We got our next Tebow. Like, this is the next Trevor Lawrence. Like, everyone's talking about him like he's the next big thing. And then, we win that game and then probably get disappointed the rest of the season. That's not the likely scenario. Like,
I like that, though. That's a good story.
That'd be a good narrative.
Yeah.
But the thing is, see, that would actually bring me joy. And the way things work out is because that's a known outcome of that, it's probably not going to happen. So the more realistic scenario will be Graham Mertz is probably going to stink it up. He's probably never going to get benched. I don't even know what weapons we have right now. Like, gun to my head, I could not tell you like who our starting wide receivers, who our starting tight end is. Like, we literally have just a crazy young team. So I guess the positive there is maybe we have a bright future, but for this game, I'm not being hopeful. I'm probably going to bet the UM money line, so maybe like kind of hedge my emotional bet. Maybe if the game loses, I make some money, and then if we win, then we sneak a good week 1 W. But I'm not hopeful for that.
For me, it's not ideal that we're going into the swamp. I think that's one of like it's a tough environment to play in. You know what I'm saying?
Especially week 1.
I feel like we have not a semi-light schedule, right? After this.
For sure.
So this is the year that we need to capitalize and like win the ACC championship and ultimately make the playoffs. And, we'll see how we go from there. I think Georgia is a monster, so I don't know if anyone can get over that. But, we have a significant advantage, at the line of scrimmage for sure over UF. Cam Ward, he came. We were just talking about him, going to the draft and then ended up coming back. And I think this season, man, he's going to pull off, it's his 5th year, it's his last one. So he wants to show out. He wants to go high on the draft. Everyone's talking Sanders going number 1, stuff like that. I don't think he's going to go that high.
I do not think. I don't know what he's done that merits a number 1 overall pick. First round, I could maybe get that argument, but no. First overall, like I'm not seeing it.
I don't know. I mean, I think with the Colorado hype, like they've been proving people. I think Deion Sanders and his son have been proving people wrong everywhere, even at Jackson State. And then that Colorado first season, they surprised people. And I agree. Like, I think they have a lot of hype and they have to do a lot this season. But I think they will continue proving that the hype is real. I agree. Yeah.
But again, it almost – I'm going to start calling this like Dolphins syndrome, where Colorado is also another team that's guilty of, yes, you're looking flashy and you're doing these things and you have Travis Hunter and sure, you're doing all this and that. But what is that translating into? Oh, nothing? Yeah, you're suffering from Dolphins syndrome. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Same thing.
I don't know. I don't know if we're going to see him even ranked in this time, you know what I'm saying, this season. So we'll see, man. We'll see how they play out. At least, the Kings, we're ranked 19. We got a long way to climb up. You know what I'm saying? It's Mario's third season. He's gone like 12-13. So it's also he's also on the hot seat as well. Like if this on paper, we were known as like the number 4 like recruiting class. You know what I'm saying? So we look like we got all the ballers. And one thing I do like about Mario, he does know how to recruit. Like the guy is legit at recruiting.
And he's from Miami. Like,
Yeah.
this is his home.
Yeah. So like we definitely got, a lot of blue chips. I think there was like 27 and then 14 out of those were blue chips, which is like 4-star and 5-star recruits. So I think that's amazing. You know what I'm saying? For you to get that many like blue chips is pretty good. But again, it looks good on paper. You know what I'm saying? Or is that going to transcend into the field? I don't know.
Are they going to suffer from chronic dolphin syndrome? Like that's the big question
dude.
this year.
The Hurricanes are legit. I think they're in the playoff. Does no doubt in my mind. I have to make that bet before this weekend. I think that from there, who knows? I'm not going to be over here saying like national championship. I think that's a little bit ridiculous. I think this year for the college playoff, it's 12-team playoff. As a reminder, people keep forgetting about that. So a lot of people are going to be getting in, but I think it's guaranteed to go to like a playoff veteran team, just because a 2-game playoff is so complicated in how you have to manage your schedules and stuff. And so like the 12 team is just insane. So like any team that hasn't been there before, they're fucked. Like no chance you can compete in the long run of that.
Dude, I'm so excited for the 12th team playoff.
Dude, it's gonna be sick.
I'm too, man. Last year I enjoyed college football a lot more than I did the NFL. So
yeah,
I'm hoping for a great season with this 12. A lot of people were kind of like shitting on it, like, oh, that's too much.
I was at first, honestly.
I loved it from the mega. I mean, even when they transitioned into the 14 playoff, even from the very beginning, when was that, like 2015, 2016, something like that? I forgot when they initially implemented that.
Like that, yeah.
But even that, I was like, how are you going to pick 4 teams in all of college football and say these are the only ones that are applicable, that are able to compete for a national championship? Like the margin for error for, because these are kids at the end of the day, it just becomes like way too granular, man.
Dude, that's why I hated it so much, because I was on the complete other side of the spectrum where it's like that was the perfect scenario for us.
Yeah, for you guys,
and some teams, I mean, like throughout the history of college football, like that's pretty much how it worked. Like the best 2 teams, at least in the last 3 decades. So like it was cool because there were elite teams. Sometimes there was some bias there, but like there were always going to be teams that were at least in the top. And that's why I went to 4 teams, and so I get it. But yeah, now that it's a 12-team playoff, it's fucking lit.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
Sick.
And,
like last year I was I have no sympathy for this team, but I was so happy when I saw FSU left out of the playoffs. You know what I'm saying?
We talked about it on this podcast, man.
Yeah.
It was. I have a saying on here that I'm a hater first and a fan second, because I said it. Like I was so ecstatic about that, because again, UF wasn't even like anywhere in the stratosphere of that discussion, but just seeing FSU get left off of that, it was just chef's kiss.
Because I went to FSU game, so we rode up to Tallahassee. It was amazing. We had a great time, tailgating. It was dope. I went with my boys, and I went in thinking that we were going to lose because FSU was balling last year,
Mm-hmm.
and then. I saw, I think it was Jacoby George score a touchdown, and I was like, wait a minute.
That was a great game.
We're only like, a touchdown away. Like we might just take this away.
Yeah.
So, and then, we lost right at the end, but it was a close game. And when I heard that they weren't making the playoffs, I was so ecstatic, bro. I'm an FSU hater, bro.
To bring it all together is like what you were saying before, like that Miami and FSU game was one of the big games that Cristobal made some stupid ass call. I forget what it was, if it was the time that ran out or he made some other weird call, but that was a big game where people were like, bro.
I think that was
none worse than the Georgia Tech game.
The Georgia Tech game, yeah.
That was the worst call I've ever seen, bro.
That's the one where he ran it. He literally could have taken a knee and decided to ran it and fumble. Was that the Georgia Tech or FSU?
Georgia Tech.
Okay, that's the play I was thinking of.
That was our first loss, and I think it was our first loss. But I remember being so mad, bro, like, because I really thought we were going to go, again, you called it the Dolphin syndrome, right? I thought we were going to go into into the
Yeah, because
playoffs.
Miami beat A&M in the second game of the season.
Yeah, I
So
remember
was
that.
like, I was hyped, you know. And then once we lost our second time, I was like, okay, that's it. It's over. We're not
It
going to
all
make.
fell apart.
Yeah. So,
I remember I was betting that North Carolina game live. I'm like, there's no way Miami's losing this game. No way, no way. And they just kept losing. I was like, fuck.
That's what happens, bro. I mean, looking at Miami's schedule, bro, honestly, I hadn't taken the time to look at the snapshot of all of their games, but bro, even in the first, like
Dude, it's
first
easy 7-0.
yeah, like the first 8 games or 9 games, like legitimately Miami could go 9-0. Because the only real competition, and I'm saying this in quotes, is probably UF. And we fucking suck.
And
like
FSU. I mean, FSU will turn it around, I'm sure, in some form.
I don't
Or at
know,
least
bro.
Be scary for that
A
game.
week 1 loss, like that cripples your morale.
Dude, or it builds you up. It's so easy. Like, it's not so easy, but like that's such a motivator. Like they're gonna destroy teams that they play next. Let's look at, like, they play Boston College next, and like they're gonna take the spread. You heard it here.
Yeah, but
I like UM, man. I like our offense. Cam Ward, we got Xavier back. I love that kid, bro. He's dope. We got Jacoby George back, and then that we picked up from I think it was Houston. He transferred over, Sam Brown. So we got a legit squad for sure. You know, we just gotta we gotta attack.
I mean, I will say it, they have a very clear path to the playoffs. I mean, first 7 games at least, you know, right before the FSU game, I feel like you have to go 7-0. Like, you cannot lose. Like, if you're going to take a loss, at the very least, it should be against Florida State. But that's the only one I'm seeing on the calendar. Like, might legitimately be the only loss. And the ACC may come down to Florida State, Miami. Like that. I'm going to say it right now. I feel like I'm confident in that.
I would love that. And they just crushed them, bro.
My trap game for Miami is that Syracuse game. I think Syracuse is going to be good this season. They've got the kid from
Explain.
Ohio State. They got the transfer from Ohio State. What's his name? He played quarterback there. Kyle McCord. I think he'll have a really good season at Syracuse. And talking about schedules, Syracuse's schedule sucks. So whatever the win total is for Syracuse, I would take the over on that.
John, what NIL fund are you investing in Syracuse? This is the most random take that I've ever seen you make. Talking about like Syracuse being an underdog. I'm sorry. Like,
dude, you can join my my NIL ETF
Telegram.
Where I'm invested in multiple. Yeah. I'm
Oh,
sure not
man.
too far off from that, but have a public NIL fund that invests in universities. Like, yo, should we make this? Is this a new company? Let's go get like investment rated, and we'll just start doing
NIL
this.
Collective, yo. Let's do it.
Yeah.
fuck it. I'm down. Let's do it. Oh man. No, but in all seriousness, man, I mean, I feel like I'm gonna get castrated by, like, you know, all my Florida peeps talking about this, but I think UM has a very, very clear shot. At the very least, if they don't win the ACC, I do think they at least have a shot making it into the playoffs. And
Yeah.
I feel like as long as you're in the playoffs, like, you have a chance. And, you know, if you can switch it on like during that time, like, you'll figure something out. But I'm excited for the 12-team playoff, if I'm being 100%
Yeah.
honest.
What do you think about the whole shakeup of like all the teams, you know, leaving? Like Pac-12 was
It's inevitable.
disseminated.
I think it sucks. I think a lot of these schools are essentially doing their program a disservice. And I'll elaborate. It's not so much because I think the move was bad, but bro, just from a logistics perspective, like, how is UCLA going to be in the Big Ten? Like, you're traveling all this time. That's going to affect your performance. Like, if you weren't already like a top tier program performing on the field, doing all of this extra traveling is not doing you any favors. Like, why do you think Hawaii has never been competitive? Because they have to travel all of these different time zones. Like, it gets to a point where changing all of that, you're not playing at 100%. I mean, the whole reason that conferences existed in the first place was because people said, oh, we'll just kind of plot people who are in the same geographic region into this, you know, conference, and we'll call it a day. So now you're restructuring it, and, you know, it's going to suck for these kids if I'm being honest with you. I think it's a disservice. I understand it, but I think they're kind of screwing themselves just for the sake of, like, you know, more TV deals. But that's just my take on it. What do you think, Woo?
I think it's tough, man, because there's a lot of money in conferences, right? So like FSU, they were trying to leave, but if they left, like they were going to be hit with a I don't know, I forgot the amount, but an enormous amount of like tax for them to leave the conference. So I think, for me, it's exactly what you said. I think it's going to hurt the players because of all the traveling and all that, and kind of traveling by coast to coast is not ideal. But like I would like to see Miami in the SEC. Like for me, the SEC is like my favorite conference to watch. Like to watch football. I love watching like games at ACC. I like watching the Gators. I'm a UM here all the way, and then I'm like Gators down here.
They're your 1B team. I got it.
I'm a Florida boy, but except the FSU, Florida State is. But I don't know if I like every team kind of like if there was only 4 conferences, that would kind of suck. You know what I'm saying?
I think it's going to happen though. Unfortunately,
Yeah, I think eventually
it's the SEC and the Big Ten. Like that's nothing else matters. Literally, unfortunately.
And it's the money, bro. It's really all about.
And I think what will happen eventually, hopefully soon, I think it'll be where the other lesser sports are not required to go into conference. Because I think that's the biggest suffer. Because football is one thing because the budgets are so big, but to be making like these like volleyball teams and like swimming and all the other teams, like travel is just insanity. And it's not for them. Like they literally don't care about them. They're all funded by the football program of the school.
Yeah.
So I think those will switch up to be like maybe in like their own conferences or something, or football is the only thing that matters for the conference, because at the end of the day, football is the only thing that matters.
Dude, they should stop beating around the bush and just make one super conference, call it the SE Big Ten, just might as well fuse those two together, and then just have divisions. You got like the SEC Big Ten North, the SEC Big Ten Southeast, and then just make it like the NFL where you play, your divisional opponents like twice a year or something, and then just have the same format at that point. Because that's basically what we're going to anyways. Like just having everyone.
It's a lot of schools.
Yeah, but we got to be real. We need to be brave enough. We need to be bold enough that we need to tell other little schools, you don't matter. Like, that's just what it's got to happen. Like, we got to eventually tell people, be like, hey, like, listen, it's not you, it's us, but you got to figure out your own thing. Like,
it's the NCAA. I feel like at that point, it's like they wouldn't want to give anything up for a super conference because they control everything.
But they're already a super conference anyways. Like the NCAA controls it all at the end of the day. Like this would just be, putting it out in the public. Like you're putting everyone in the SEC, you're putting everyone in the Big Ten. Like the Pac-12 literally has no teams at this point. Like all of the Pacific teams are somehow in the East. Doesn't even make sense anymore. It's just like, fuck it, dude. Just do like a super conference at this point. Like, who cares?
Well, to that point, it sounds like that's true. Maybe it would be, dude, oh my God, ready for this? Okay, here we go. The NCAA Super Conference with the North and the South, like the Confederate War. Big Ten versus the SEC. Right across the Mason-Dixon. Yep.
I like it.
Yep.
That'd be cool.
Yeah,
so yeah,
I dig that.
Abraham Lincoln could be like on the logo and stuff.
Now the game, NCAA. I don't know if you guys got a chance to play it.
No, I want to play it so bad.
Bro, it is addicting. It's addicting. Like you even want to play with different teams. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just. I only want to do that because I want to see like different stadiums and how people interact. So I play, and I've been playing online and stuff. So it's really a dope game, and we were waiting for it for like 10 plus years or something like that. I don't remember how long, but tying it back to the conferences, like they're getting money off of that. You know what I'm saying? And in the beginning, there was a lot of people that were like, no, like they didn't want to sign off their rights for their names and stuff. You know what I'm saying? And that's something that the NIL completely changed. Like now that we have new athletes coming in, and a lot of them are making millions of dollars, you know what I'm saying, before, and then you have other people on the team that aren't doing like making anything. So I think it's crazy how college football is right now. And I think there needs to be a fix on the NIL because it's getting a little out of hand I think.
Yeah.
But the way these people are getting the way these conferences are making money, like they have to be able to give to these players. You know what I'm saying?
Dude, the NIL and college football at large, like from on all levels. Like I was having a conversation with some guys I play fantasy football with, and it's like this is the biggest season in college football ever. Honestly, you can make the argument for that because for many reasons, on the basic just like level of sport, like there's some really incredible teams. Like there's probably 5 to 10 teams you can make a good argument that could win it all this season. Not really, probably like 4, but still, that's a meaningful season. And then all the changes with the playoff, and then this NIL, the college football game, like you said, Woo, but yeah, this NIL stuff is crazy because, and it's one of the reasons why Nick Saban retired, because I heard stories like the second the season ends or the second the season starts, like people are coming to like the coach's office to talk about like how much money they can get, and it's just like insane. But at the same time, it's like it's this like pressurized buildup that got to this point, like all these years boiled up to now, like now's the chance, and it's crazy. It's like Pandora's box. Like it's open now. It's just gonna do whatever it happens in chaos.
It's free game right now, And the crazy thing is that we asked for it. We were the ones like, yo, the players need to get paid. The players need to get paid, but there's no regulation. Like nobody put any regulations on it, so it's just like a free for all right now.
Literally. And it's like, it's funny too. Like, it's not funny. It's funny for me as an Alabama fan. I mean, like, this has been going on forever. So, right, like, people have been getting paid in one way or another. Some better kept secrets than others, but yeah.
No, it's always been a thing. I mean, just with the with NIL, it's just it went from being like an under the table situation to now it's over the table. It's always been about money. Like people weren't going to the Alabamas, the USC's. What else? The
Just
UMs.
play ball, coach.
Yeah, bro.
Play ball.
Like this was all shit that was going on behind closed doors. Now it's just open. Like people were still asking the same thing of just like, hey, how much money can I make by going to your school? But now they're just being upfront about it. Listen, and it's just it's a market. The market's simply going to determine like who gets the best players. Another reason why little schools we have to be brave and bold and tell them it's like, listen, like you just can't compete. Like
guys, I want to ask you a question. This is for my benefit, but it could be for all of our benefits. How can we make money off of NIL? Any ideas?
It would be starting a management company, honestly.
Yeah. I thought about that. I was like, I don't know anything about sports contracts. No. So
I think there should be a market where there should be like an ETF where I'm able to I should be able to buy shares that are tracking the performance of like a group of schools or something. And then if those schools do well, my investment goes up. I think
there's a company that I want to, I've been looking to invest in. It's called Vestable. And they are, it's basically like investing in players. So you're putting your money into like, they have a roster of NIL players. So you're basically putting your money and investing on them. And then you get a returns whenever they get, whenever they sign a check. And every time they sign a check. So it's like Bitcoin, right? Like you're putting money into it and you're just hoping it goes up. So Vestable is something that I think is going to change the game. It's going to evolve as it goes because there's a startup right now. This is not like a plug or anything like that. For me, I ask myself the same question, like how can I be involved in the NIL thing? How can I like invest and like make some type of money off of that? And I looked this people up and I'm like, yo, this is it. And then I saw some of their videos that they were explaining, and it's basically investing in players. And I'm like, damn, I never seen that. That's pretty dope.
Okay, so we're gonna take this idea with the invest idea, and we're gonna make our own version where we're investing in NIL athletes, and we get a cut of that. So let's do that.
Whatever they make.
Yeah, you can actually do that. I mean, we just figured it out right here. Ready for this? I'm gonna explain the whole concept. So. We just kind of crowdfund any athlete. Any athlete can sign up for us. They go through some process. Let's say it's a 5-star, so we have a good client. And then people can just literally put money into their profile. Like they can raise like $25,000. So they make $25,000, and then we have a contract with them that says you must return X percentage of any contract with us to your investors, and people get a return for it. But the big problem is like, how do they get the payout? They can get dividends, But what is a payout, if ever? I don't know. But yeah, that's the plan. So let's do it.
I mean,
I'm with it.
that could work.
I'm with it.
Probably, honestly, what would be like a legitimate question? It's like, yo, what happens in a situation where someone just literally becomes too injured to play football? Like, is that like a company going to zero at that point? You just lose your entire investment?
I think so.
Pretty much, yeah.
I think so.
That's crazy. Or instead of players, like you were saying, I think one of you said it, like investing in the schools, like teams in particular. I think that's a pretty dope.
I mean, that's a good living of the NFT world in it right there. Like if NIL happened 2 years ago during the NFT craze, bro, there could have been some epic NFT projects with universities to like fundraise for NFT.
I think so.
I mean, I think more than anything, man, it's just the landscape of what college football is going to look like. I mean, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, I mean, shoot, we're going to sound like super old dudes talking about it's like, oh, I remember back in my day, you used to get fined for paying players.
Yeah, literally, it is going to be like that. 100%.
Yeah, it's just like they stole Reggie Bush's Heisman for accepting funds under the table. And you kids got all your fancy NIL and your ETFs and your NFTs.
I'm so glad he got his Heisman back, bro.
That was clutch. No, he had to, bro. It's like, bro, come on.
The story of like how he tells what happened.
No,
it wasn't even like the way he tells it. I'm not going to try and like retell it because I won't do it justice. But the way he tells the story, and I believe him for better or worse, it was not a malicious intent thing at all. Like he was not even like knowing to it being perceived in that sort of way. It's really fucked up, honestly. So yeah, thank God that he got that back because that's insane.
I think I did hear that. I mean, he literally was just a guy that like repped USC. Like he just loved the school. He played well. And yeah, he just happened to be a victim of wrong place, wrong time type of situation.
Scapegoat.
Yeah.
I feel like they used him as a scapegoat for it,
and he got chastised for that. And, his name was tarnished because of it. Thankfully, he still had, a decent NFL career. Yeah, but bro, exactly. Like you got NIL now, and even after the fact, even before NIL, you had guys like Johnny Manziel that they were very much making money off their name, image, and likeness. They didn't lose their Heisman, so it was fair. It was unfair.
True. Like, dude, you know what? I'm gonna come on here and say this. Let me clear my throat. Reggie Bush lost his Heisman Trophy due to racism.
Oh my god!
I don't know if we're joking, but bro,
I'm not joking. I'm being serious. Yeah, it is a joke, but honestly, the Johnny Manziel point that you made, that proves it, dude. I mean, he was so in everybody's face with that. But also, let me play devil's advocate to myself. Reggie Bush was 10 years before Johnny Manziel, so I mean, it was a different time, also.
Yeah. So I'm just happy he got his Heisman back. And Reggie Bush, if you want to come on the podcast and talk about it, we will happily support you.
Or Johnny Manziel.
Or Johnny Manziel. We will happily support you guys, having you guys on our podcast. Have you guys actually seen the Johnny Manziel documentary on Netflix?
It's crazy.
Yeah. Dude,
there's still a lot that was left out, but I think it's still crazy. It's
dude, 100%. I could just tell everything they were saying was just tip of the iceberg type of situation. Yeah. But man, that guy... I both feel bad for him, but also not bad for him because I'm just yeah, man, you kind of had, you didn't have a bad life. Just the fact that you couldn't handle being this famous, I don't think is good enough an excuse to kind of do the things you did.
Right.
But we can't relate. We can't relate.
We can't
really
relate.
Can't come close to relating.
Yeah, no. He was living on the edge, though. That's for sure.
He was.
Dude, I remember when I was at Alabama my sophomore year is when he came to Tuscaloosa. And I didn't go to the game because I was working on a project, so I stayed at home watching on TV, and I was so happy I did, but obviously I was still so mad. I was just banging the couch, and he just running around like a rat without his head, and just
literally,
it was insane.
I was eating sushi. I'll never forget it. I had a California roll, so it was a special that this sushi place had, and I bought it. It was 10 rolls for $10. This was some random ass sushi place in Gainesville. Probably was the worst quality sushi, but I'll never forget it. They were showing the game, and I was like, "Holy shit! Texas A&M just beat Bama at home."
That was a crazy game, bro.
Dude, that was a wild. I'll never forget that game, and that's when this guy came.
That's when he just skyrocketed. After that,
literally.
bro.
Straight up. But he even admitted it on the documentary that he was selling autographs and shit on the side. Never had his Heisman taken away. So
literally, yeah, bro.
Yeah. Or look at, you can even go back to LeBron. He had a Hummer his senior year. Come
Yeah.
on, man. You know
Like,
what I'm saying? Like,
all of this shit was happening behind the scenes. It's not like just suddenly everyone was like, "Oh, we're allowed to incentivize players with large sums of money now." Oh,
Right.
okay, finally. I was definitely holding back on that until this thing became legal. Like, no, it was all going on, dude. Like, I remember, John, you probably recall too, but even in Florida, I remember walking around like past the football facilities, like all of these guys, you know, they got Chargers, they got Camaros. It's just like, wonder where that's coming from.
yeah. 10-carat gold chains.
Yeah, bro. Like, it's nothing new. So
Purchased with hard work.
yeah, determination, blood, sweat, and tears. You know.
Let the legal disposition say that.
Oh man, but no, it is. I do think it is going to be interesting just watching how the landscape evolves. But yeah, John, I think you make a very good point that it really, like, this is going to be a very, very interesting year because I feel like we just have the culmination of so many things that we're seeing for the first time. I mean, college football being back, NIL being like bigger than ever, 12-team playoff, all of the restructuring in the conference.
Bro,
and it's an election year on top of that. So.
Oh my god! And the election year, dude.
It's insane.
The world might explode, and that's actually not even a figure of speech. The world might explode. But I was gonna say the election is crazy. But the other thing that we're not accounting for is like so far. I was gonna knock on wood, but I don't need to knock on wood. Like a crazy storyline breaking out because like with everything like you said culminating like with the NIL money now, like bro, the egos on these kids are so big. Like just wait till something crazy or even a coach like blows up this season. It's gonna happen, and it's gonna.
Well, just imagine a kid getting paid $3 million, right, because of NIL, and then you have the quarterback's coach come and lay into him. He's gonna be like, "Yo, get out of my face, bro." I'm making
Exactly,
$3 million.
bro. Yo, I made more than you've ever made in your life, and I'm 17. Get the fuck out of my face.
Yeah.
For real, yeah, that's just spot on what's gonna happen, and like every team probably at least once.
And that's insane and sad at the same time, bro.
Yeah, but that's gonna be on the schools to be able to manage that because again, if you're a Clemson, you're an FSU, like if you're like a blue blood college, you know that's going on, and if you haven't thought of a contingency plan of how you manage that, like that's on you as an organization because like that's unfortunately what the protocol dictates of how you have to manage your teams. And if you're not prepared for that, then you're not prepared to compete in this new landscape. Like, the time is now, old man, basically.
Clemson's actually battling it by not doing it. So I haven't said this until this moment. I haven't even thought it, but
I hate Dabo Swinney. I think he's a fucking dork. I think he's it's not even that he's a bad coach. He's just a dork.
He's a winner though. So that's why I would put them as a dark horse. I don't think anything of them, but I'll pull the card out and say, in the case that Dabo's strategy works.
Listen, all I'm going to say is DJ, you, however you pronounce his name, like I have not been able to successfully do it, but I saw this graphic the other day. So he was apparently ranked higher than CJ Stroud when they were both coming out of high school, both 5 stars.
Yeah.
And now DJ is on his 3rd college, literally losing to an unranked Georgia Tech, where CJ Stroud is now arguably, some might say top 5 QB. I would personally say at least top 10. So one could say that maybe Clemson actually ruined his career because he was supposed to be the next big thing, but under Dabo Swinney's watch, he collapsed. So what does that say about it?
DJ ruined his career, and he was just
that also could be it. He also could be bad. That is a legitimate argument.
I think once he did that 7-Eleven or that commercial he did, that NIL commercial. I don't know if you guys saw it.
I do.
For
I remember
FSU?
it.
Yeah. Once he did that commercial, I think it just went.
Oh, dude. See, and it would be cool. Like, imagine if there was also like an options market for players. So like you could just immediately short a player or like just buy puts on it. Like you see a stupid commercial like that and you're just like, oh, dude, I'm shorting the shit out of this player right now. Like
some places have that. Like I guess Vestful has some form of it, and I know that there's been another one where like you can like invest in stocks, but the problem is like there's no like liquidity for like what the money comes from.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of that, like when you just start doing stuff like that and there's not actually like an underlying value into like what you're getting, you're just like, all right, we're just betting on whatever, I guess.
Yeah.
So
it's crazy.
Oh man, wow! How many topics have we touched on at this point? We've talked about Dolphin syndromes. Went on a rant about college sports. Talked about how it's going to be the craziest year in college football. I feel like we need to, at the very least, acknowledge that the Miami Heat did have a very good summer league showing. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm getting really optimistic. I know that the season's not starting up until October, but Khalil Ware, he might be like I think we finally have a true center. That's all I'm going to say.
I really like this guy, but I think that they're not gonna start him. He's gonna start behind Kevin Love, I think.
Probably.
But I really like seeing this kid, man. Like, I think there's a lot of upside to him. I thought it was dope. I have never watched a summer league game ever, and I watched the
They're fun.
I watched the championship, obviously, when we won. So I was like, yo, I like this. I like this. So I think I'm happy with the squad. I think we need to stay healthy. Obviously, that's always been our Achilles heel. Like, we make it to the end, and then boom, at the end, everyone's hurt. And then, I hate the Boston Celtics as much as I hate FSU. So
you and I both, bro.
yeah. So seeing them go through the playoffs with all the other teams hurt, it was like, I mean, obviously, I can't take away that they won a championship, but I'm like, damn, you couldn't have done it an easier way, man. Like, you just literally had the path. Everyone was hurt. Embiid was hurt.
Yeah, dude. Everyone.
He was hurt. Like, everyone that you ran through, was hurt. But they still won the chip. Like, at the end of the day, if you look in the history books, like, it's going to say Boston Celtics.
It is
2024 champions.
You can make any argument against it, any argument for it, but unfortunately, and they did beat Dallas, because I was a believer that it's just like, oh yeah, they had this super easy path to the playoffs, and they came in and just like destroyed the Mavs, and I was like, okay, I maybe was wrong.
I had no idea that they were going to do that, but I was hoping the Dallas were going to win it. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, I think all of us were.
I wanted to see Kyrie kind of redeem himself also, and I've been a Kyrie hater. I'm not gonna lie to you, because he said a lot of dumb shit.
Yeah, he was definitely making a name out for himself, not in a good way. No, but
this year he turned it around. I feel
exactly like he really, really was like comeback player of the year, basically, just kind of changing the narrative a little bit. It's like him and Mark Zuckerberg, like whatever, they must have the same PR team, because whatever is going on.
Zuckerberg.
Bro, now he's like the most lovable billionaire ever. Like, they have to have the same PR team.
Water skiing with the tux. Come on, man. Like,
yeah,
the guy,
fuck his daddy.
He's legit. He's legit.
Dude, so fun.
Yo,
I'm happy for it. Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, I have bad news that I think this is the season where this is the true rebuild season for Miami Heat, where things need to get realized. I think the Heat are cooked.
Probably.
Jimmy Butler is done. He should have been moved on from, but we couldn't get a deal. And so hopefully after this season, we will get a new star to hopefully do more for us. But I think this year we're fucked.
I mean, I think that's the vision. I think we're just building in the trenches. Like, we're trying to draft good guys. And in the past 4 drafts, I feel like I'm comfortable with saying that we've hit on 3 of the last 4 drafts that we had. The only one that we missed was on Precious, which, man, that still to this day is the worst. Literally, like, 1 pick before Tyrese Maxey. Like, that's what makes it even worse. Yeah. But all the other 3 that we got, like, have all hit. So I feel like that's what we're doing. Like, we're building in the trenches. Like, we're trying to just stay young, We're looking really favorable for Josh Giddey, because we're just looking really young in general. So
I think we're young. And to John's point, I am a little iffy about how this season's going to go, because Jimmy, he's on a contract year, so he's going to try to play like lights out. What that ends up being, what lights out means, I have no idea. I don't know if it's going to be. Yeah, that's where I was going with it. Like, I don't know if that's going to mean that he's going to be injured again, because I think he's 35. He's already like at the end of his years. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we'll see, man. I wish.
And he's been getting injured, so it's not like it's anything new.
Yeah, I wished that, and I was saying this, before, that we were gonna get Edwards. Lure him in. But I feel like Edwards this year kind of just took his popularity, to another level, and his ego.
Yeah.
And
But he's balling out, so he backs it up.
Yeah. He's gonna be out of reach though. I don't think
exactly.
we'd be able to make a run at him for sure.
Do you think he moves somewhere this season, Anthony Edwards?
No, they're gonna offer him like some crazy contract to keep him there because he's become like he turned Minnesota into what definitely was like the laughing stock of the league at one point, and now suddenly I literally saw this stat today that they were the team with the biggest increase in national television games.
Wow!
Like they literally increase by 15 national TV games. That's insane. Literally goes to show like how popular they've become. And this was a team like they were the laughing stock, bro.
Speaking of superstars turning up a team, I cannot wait. I might get a jersey. I don't even care about basketball, honestly. Like I follow basketball for this podcast, but I besides that, it doesn't matter to me. Motherfucking Ja Morant and the Memphis Grizzlies. I think they're going to be balling with him. He's going to be like, blah, 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 blah.
I disagree.
Yeah,
John. Like the fact your statement of not watching basketball just came out when you said that. Like me and Woo just both looked at you like, no.
Ja Morant. You guys don't think Ja Morant's gonna have an epic comeback season?
No, I'm sure he will be. But like, what other player is there on the team? Like Dylan Brooks was the only other player that was good on there, and then he went to Houston. So other than that, I can't name you any other notable Memphis players right now. Like, it's just him.
Well, if you can't, I'm not going to be able to.
And he's probably going to get in trouble again. Like, he's probably going to pull out a gat or something on an Instagram live and get suspended for like half the season. And then it's just like, what else does that team have to show for?
He literally had the NBA in his hands, bro. Like, legit.
All he had to do was like not be an idiot.
Yeah. And I think, he is going to ball out. I just don't think people are looking for it anymore as they used to. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm not sure that, like on the West, I don't think they're going to go deep at all. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, who knows? I'm comfortable in saying that I feel like the West right now is pretty up for grabs. I feel like it's not as dominating as it had been in like the past 10 years because you think about all of the blue chip teams. You got the Spurs, they're in a rebuild. They just have Wemby. The Warriors, Clay's in Dallas. Draymond Green has CTE. Utah sucks. It's really just the Timberwolves. Like the Timberwolves and Dallas are like really the only competitive teams there. So if you got another one that can kind of step it up and make a run in the playoffs, like the West is open.
I think the Spurs are gonna. We're one more like chip away from like being heavy in the West and controlling it for years. Because Wemby, I really think Wemby's gonna like dominate, bro.
So
I would like.
Go ahead.
I have a theory. And you guys can tell me if you agree. So have you guys heard about peptides? Is that something that you're aware exists?
No.
Long story short, when I visited my dad in Colombia, this guy basically told me this story that it's developed. They're literally called peptides, but they're not like steroids, but they essentially have the same effect as steroids, but you can't detect them in typical steroid tests. And this is apparently a guy that used to train like Olympic gold medal winning weightlifters that represented Colombia in the Olympics. And this guy's telling me, he's just like, oh, you're a guy, you like watching sports. I'm telling you, like, be on the lookout because that's what they're going to start using. So the reason I say that is because of Wemby gains. Like, imagine if that guy puts on like a good 10 pounds of like pure muscle, bro, it's done. Like, how do you stop that?
Yeah.
Yo, where do
so
we buy
I do
peptides?
Agree with that, Woo. The what?
Can I get peptides off Amazon?
You actually can. In fact, I bought some. I got them delivered earlier today.
How are
I'll
they?
literally send you a picture after this podcast, John.
Yeah, all right. Let's start popping peps.
Yeah, popping peps.
Also, I want to briefly revert back to the conversation on Memphis Grizzlies when someone asked, "Who do they have?" I'm going to tell you who they have. Zach Edey.
They do have Zach Edey. I forgot.
Right,
they do. I totally forgot they drafted him.
The TikTok clips of Zach Edey and John Morant are going to be crazy. Just wait for
Damn,
the
dude.
pose with John Morant and his guns and Zach Edey with his guns.
Yo, both of them in the prison yard just balling out against other inmates. Woo! That's gonna go crazy, bro.
Damn, bro. Zach Edey, stay out the streets.
Yeah, bro.
Because they will find you. You're 7 foot.
Dude, I wanted the Heat to get him. Like, you know, I even said it on this podcast. Like, that's who I wanted us to get. But unfortunately, you know, we still got a stud. Like, I'm a Kello. I'm trying to think of like a funny nickname. My King Kellel, you know, that's who he is. I love him, dude.
Peptide Poppy.
That's another one that actually, if he started taking peptides and like if he put on a good like 2 pounds of muscle or some shit, or sorry, a good like 5 pounds of muscle or something, that'd be scary hours, bro.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Dude, so I don't know. I think we've covered a lot of bases here. I think we've gone past an hour. Should we
did.
Start wrapping up?
Yeah, I was gonna say that. Yeah, because I'm already getting text message on the side like, are you doing like a 2-part? Are you doing like a 2 episode today?
My wife's like, "Where's the dinner?"
Well, all right. I'll close this out then. So we covered peptides, the Dolphins, Miami. I mean, we really did
everything.
We're going to be relying on AI in this episode to summarize.
Yo, Woo, again, great episode. This was everything that I could picture and more. Again, this was awesome. Loved having you. And I'm sure we will have you again at some point in the future as well.
Love it, man. I love chopping it up with you guys, man. And definitely, you know, when a major upside starts going, for sure, you guys are going to be part of it. So peace, man. Stay up and keep doing what you guys are doing.
Appreciate it, brother.
Peace, guys.
Okay.